Welcome, everybody, to the Friday Night Fever Afterburn show. If you're new to the show, if you're a fan of this show, we're still going to tell you what it's about. You probably watch Friday Night Fever on News 13, and you've come to us to get the breakdown of all the high school football action that happened in the Panhandle for Week 7 of the season. Yes, we're already in Week 7, Sam.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Wild to me as well. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. So without further ado, let us know who you want to know, what happened tonight. You know, if you have somebody in the comment, or if you put something in the comments, if you have a team you support, you want to know about, you want us to break down, let us know. This show is all about you guys. So if you don't talk to us, we don't know what you want to see. So let's just go through all those scores real quick. Hey, Crystal, thanks for watching tonight. South Walton takes down Port St. Joe in our game of the week. The undefeated Sharks go down. I thought this was a great game. Sam, you were there, and I know we're going to break it down, but I mean, that was a great game.
This was so much fun. I mean, from the start, it looked like Port St. Joe had the advantage. They held in the first drive. South Walton scores 3. That's the most points that Port St. Joe has had somebody score against them this season. 3 points.
They didn't know what to do.
Season. They weren't sure what to do, but then they come back. They score 14 straight, 14-3. Then it's really looking like Sharks are going to take over. An interception, a score, another 2-point conversion going to the half, 14-14. This was a great game, and then a 4-point finish.
I mean,
South
it's close. It's close. Yeah. What went wrong with Weewaw again? Well, I don't know if it's going wrong. I think they're just battling some really tough teams, honestly. Weewaw fell by 1 point to Maclay tonight. And Maclay is, you know, a good squad. I mean, we talked to our friends over at WTXL, and they were like, oh, we might go to that game, we might not. But Maclay, you know, obviously hung in there. They were going back and forth and battling in that game, 31-30. Thanks, Coach Tiza. We appreciate you. A great win tonight. My goodness, we just talked about it. But, wow, Coach Tiza, I hope you're celebrating a little bit, not watching our show, because you deserve it tonight. Definitely great win for you guys. Out of our coverage area, but Niceville defeated Miami Edison 21-14. Great for Niceville. Great job, Niceville, tonight.
We've been talking about Mosley being undefeated, and we'll get to that in just a second. But Niceville and Mosley, those two schools, you know, I mean, they could be some of the best in the entire state.
Seriously. Oh, yeah, definitely. Cottondale won 52-6 against Franklin County. Great for Cottondale tonight, their first win of the season. That's awesome. 52 points? My goodness, that's amazing, Mandy. We did not go to that game, but, man, maybe we should have popped that on our coverage up.
Right, looks like a lot of highlights coming from Cottondale side.
Yeah, seriously, a lot. And North Bay Haven, North Bay Haven, I think this one was a shocker one, because we looked at the score, and I think it was 14-0 Buccaneers, and I said, wow, Freeport hasn't scored anything?
Are we sure?
Are we sure about that? I mean, you know, Freeport's a great team. You know, is that correct? And yeah, it was correct. North Bay Haven shut them out 34-0 tonight. A great win for the Buccaneers. Maybe, you know, the Buccaneers starting to click the halfway through the season. You know, that happens with teams like this. I mean, you want to be playing your best ball right now, and it looks like the Buccaneers are. So that's great.
You know, their running game looked to be incredible tonight. You know, I made the reference, number 40, the big man over there, looking like Mike Allstott coming down the field, another Buccaneer reference. But, you know, they looked great tonight, 34-0, shutting out Freeport, who started off 3-0. I mean, they've kind of gone on a skid now, but I mean, that still is a great football team.
They really are. So honestly, great win for North Bay Haven tonight. We see some North Bay Haven fans on here. Linda, great job to North Bay Haven. And we got to talk about, I hope we have some Mosley Dolphin fans on here. We do have to talk about Mosley with another win. Mosley beats Navarre 30-7 tonight. That they improved to 7-0. They're our lone team in our area coverage that's still undefeated.
One remains. Port St. Joe goes down, so that means Mosley is the last one.
That's amazing.
7-0.
And 7-0. And if I'm not incorrect, I think I saw it on Twitter tonight. Let me look. This is the first time they've gone 7-0 for a very long time. I think it was the 80s. 88? Yeah, thank you, Spencer. 88. And I mean, that's 1988 to go 7-0 at the start of this season, and not to have done that for decades. I mean, that's amazing. Honestly, this Mosley team, we've said it before, I'll say it again, is something special. Definitely something.
They are the real deal. Expect them come November, you know, making a push at the playoffs. I am very excited. You know, the baseball team won state this year. Again, we say this every week. It's early, but, you know, each week, it's early. And then win. I mean,
the baseball team wins the state title. The volleyball team ranked #1 in Class 5A. I'm going to throw a little shout out to Coach Mask and her girls on this show, but can you imagine if, baseball wins and then it starts this like championship thing going at Mosley? That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, the golf team had an impressive win today. Mosley Sports looking great right now.
Yeah, and then, look, I see some comments here. I'm going to talk a nice homecoming win for the Marianna Bulldogs. I'm glad we have a Marianna fan on here because I'm so sorry we had some technical difficulties during the show on those Marianna highlights. So, without further ado, the first time we ever get to do this, I'm gonna give you the highlights. Drum roll, please, of the Marianna and Bay game. So on first play from scrimmage, Tornadoes not starting off so great. They fumble the ball. Taquan Catino scoops it on up and almost makes it to the end zone, but gets taken down at the 5-yard line. Setting it up here for Giovanni Womble, goes straight up the middle for the score. He even loses a shoe doing it. Look at him hobbling around there. Point is good. It's 7-0. And only 30 seconds into the game. Unfortunately for Bay High, this is going to set the stage for the rest of the matchup. Bay does get the ball back, but they struggle to pick up some yards here. So let's go back to Marianna because they're the star of this show. Womble with a sly handoff here to Tucker Brock, and he's off to the races, taking that ball 55 yards for the second touchdown of the night. But the extra point not going to be good this time, so it's 13-0 Marianna. Well, let's go to the second quarter now. It's going to be Womble with another charge through the defense. He has a tornado on him, but just shoves him off like it's absolutely nothing. Man, Womble is fantastic. He finds the end zone again, and it's 20-0 Marianna now. Bay would hit back a bit, but not enough to get the victory in this one. The final is Marianna 34, Bay 14. So honestly, Faith, who says nice homecoming win for the Marianna Bulldogs, she is definitely right. Nice win for Marianna tonight against Bay. I mean, they look great. Giovanni Womble, I believe we said, had 3 touchdowns tonight. He's just on fire for them. I mean, he's just so electric to watch. And watching him he had a tornado on him for that second touchdown there and just pushes him off. Says, it is no problem for me. I'm a big guy. I can take you.
Marianna might have one of the toughest schedules in the entire Panhandle this year. They've had a tough go of it. They started off the season with Port St. Joe, and then they've lost a couple others. And I mean, now just a big win here, a 20-point victory over Bay High,
Very
which,
big.
A depleted team, but also a very quality team with a lot of great players over there at Bay High. And, a 20-point victory, that's a great win.
Great win for them. Pat, I'm going to get to the comments. Sorry, just wanted to get those highlights for people. Pat, Vernon was off this week, so no, Vernon has not won a game this year. They are 0-4 on the season, but yeah, they haven't scored. They haven't won a game this year, and they were off this week. And then I'm looking at another comment that somebody already commented off to. Was tonight the first game that PSJ defense allowed points? John, yes, it was tonight. Was the first game because
in fact, that is true.
That is true. That is true, and Sam knows that because before they went into this game, the only points that anybody has scored on the team was 2 points in the
safety. The Rutherford game last week.
Yeah.
Rutherford, so technically the defense scores that one.
Yeah.
So no offensive points allowed this season. We talked about it earlier. Coach Tiza, he said, I'm expecting something different. Clearly tonight was something
Coach
different.
Tiza was
40 points. I mean, that South Walton offense, man, they are incredible. And I saw I think it was Michelle Hodges in here. I'm assuming that might be a Kemper Hodges mother.
Maybe a relation.
He was incredible, as always.
As always.
And, the other day I was, doing my little nerdy statistics.
I was going to get there, Sam. You didn't let me get
I'll let you introduce
Okay,
it.
I'll let you. Okay, all right, sounds good. Earlier this week, we had Coach Tiza reached out to me and said, look, we got to do a story on Kemper. He's putting up absolutely insane numbers. And well, you did the math because I said he would be a quarterback I would want on a high school fantasy football team. And you did the math and converted what he's been doing into fantasy points. And how many points would he average on my fantasy high school football team?
before tonight hasn't been calculated. I'm sure it's gone up quite a bit.
Yeah.
228 points through 5 games. That's a 45.6
and this is
per
fantasy.
game average. This is fantasy football. This is standard league, going by 6 points for rushing touchdown, 4 points for a passing touchdown, 4 points for every 100 yards. Standard league,
standard.
45.6 points per game. And in fantasy football league, we're looking at, Patrick Mahomes this year is about 29.
Listen, he's my fantasy quarterback.
Kyler Murray's about 28.
Come on, he's my fantasy quarterback,
and
he's blowing him out of the water. I said on the show, Patrick Mahomes, for reference, gets about 25, 26, 27, maybe 30 points for my fantasy team, but nothing like South Walton's Kemper Hodges. Put him in the league right now. Put him in. I want to see what he can do.
That young man right now, and that's another thing, the Coach Tiza was saying, any team that kind of passes up on him because of his stature,
No, they
not
can
the
call
case.
me.
He should be at a Division I school next year.
Definitely.
I think he could go in and improve a lot of programs right off the bat.
So I'm seeing people are answering in the comments all these things, but Cottondale's score, they beat them 52-6. Franklin County, I just saw that comment there, right? I believe so. Spencer, if you can confirm if I'm,
I think it was 56.
Oh, 52-6. It was, Cottondale 52-6 over Franklin County, so good win for Cottondale. Sneads did win tonight, I believe. Yes, Sneads did win 41-6 over, and I really wish someone would tell me how to pronounce this. Patala Charter Academy? Is it Patala? I've never known how to pronounce it. Pataula. No, you know what? Someone's going to sound off in the comments and tell me actually how to pronounce it, but Sneads did win tonight. A great win for Sneads, 41-6. That's a lot of points. Ray, Rutherford's record, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, 1-5 now?
One win.
One win.
That's for sure.
And they lost tonight, so that's 5. So 1-5.
I believe so. Have they had a bye week yet?
No, so it's one. So they're 1-5. Okay, yeah. So Ray, they are 1-5, and if Spencer wants to double check me on my math there, but definitely 1-5. The NFC QB. Okay, we're talking about Bluntstown now. Who won between Weeba Hitchkin and Maclay? Connie. Maclay won by 1 point. It was 31-30 in that game. A really tough battle between those two teams. Again, Maclay won 31-30. And I see John Brock talking about Bluntstown's game. He went there to Bluntstown tonight. If I'm incorrect, we have a lot of comments. Man, you guys are very active tonight on this Friday night. We like it.
Too much to keep up.
I know, it's too much to keep up for me. The NFC QB had 28 pass attempts and almost 300 yards at halftime. He said, #fantasy.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow.
But still, I want to know what Bluntstown scored 72 points.
That is
Spencer,
crazy.
can we pull up those highlights for the good people here? Because, Michelle Hodges did say, thank you all for the love. Kemper works hard and puts his whole heart into the team. Michelle, he is a great kid as well, and I love that about Kemper too. When we interview him, he's always, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and that to me goes above the stats. Right, Sam?
Absolutely. I was over there this week, and great young man. Like I said, refers to me as Mr. Granville, and I'm like, man, you look older than I do. I mean,
I love that. Well, let's talk about this North Florida Christian game, and with Bluntstown tonight. Bluntstown must have been mad after that loss to Holmes County because they came out and they kicked North Florida Christian in the mouth. And North Florida Christian are 8-time state champions. They're not a bad team. And so, and Coach Bo Johnson was saying before the year started, he said, this is a team that I really think could give us some issues. It just depends what it looks like, what we look like at that point in the season, what they look like. But, man, the Tigers looking incredible tonight, looking like that Bluntstown team that we know and we love. And I think, honestly, a great bounce-back victory for them. Like you said in the show, a basketball score. Maybe not for North Florida Christian, but Bluntstown for sure. 72 points. It's rare in a high school football game. We see that high of a score, but that's incredible.
Just so many weapons over there for the Tigers. I mean,
they really do.
We talk about fantasy, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
They score so much, but I can't calculate, a top fantasy score on Bluntstown because there are so many. All of them have about 200-300 points a game, so they're
because there isn't a star on Bluntstown.
There is no star. They're all
great.
They're
all the stars.
They're all great. They're all incredible.
That was the most cliche of me to say, but they
It is true.
Really
Go right now and look at Max Preps, once the stats are put in, or whoever puts the stats in, and just look. Each skill player is about 200-300 yards and a couple touchdowns. There's about 5 or 6 of them that just put up incredible numbers.
Yeah, and honestly, it was funny because Coach Johnson said that in game 1. He was like, I'm just so proud of how many guys touched the ball in this game. And guess what? That happened last week, too. That happened the week before. I think in their game before Holmes County, they had 7 or 8 guys touch the ball, that's amazing. I mean, honestly, incredible for a high school team to be so well-rounded like that, because we talk about amazing players. We talk about all these guys who are having the games of their lives, but Blountstown's guys, as a whole, they are just firing on all cylinders, and that's amazing to see. I think Blountstown, even though they had a loss last week, I think they still have good things coming for them.
I'm looking down in the comments, and we got hints of the Baker game coming up, and everybody is ready for that one.
That one I have circled on my calendar.
I said I want the South Walton Port St. Joe game. That's the one that I'm so looking forward to, and Blountstown Baker. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I said that twice today. I was like, excuse me, move over, South Walton Port St. Joe. Great game. But I'm ready for that Blountstown Baker game. I'm really ready for that. And honestly, Baker looks incredible this year. We've talked about it before with Caleb Wagner. He has literally one hand because of a birth defect.
Right.
He has one hand, and he beat Derrick Henry's single-game rushing record in high school ball. That's amazing. That's incredible. And I want to see what he does against a Blountstown team that's so well-rounded.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, once again, going back to the fantasy, Baker not quite in our region, so I couldn't, put them in there.
Caleb
but if he
Wagner
was, he leads the state in basically every category with rushing, scoring.
He really does.
Caleb Wagner,
amazing.
If any team can stop him, though, maybe Blountstown.
Maybe Blountstown. So, they're well-rounded.
I guess.
Wildcat, the score for Liberty County was actually off this week, so they did not have a score, but they will be back in action next week. So you'll have to watch for that. We should be able to go cover their game if they're not out of the area. I haven't looked at Week 8's games yet, but I believe Spencer has Week 8's games for us, right, Spencer? Yes, because he's the best producer ever. So we have those Week 8 games for you. We have a nice Thursday night matchup. I do love Thursday night matchups, don't you?
Bay County, I mean, you got Rutherford and Bozeman. It's always good to kind of get, a sneak peek into the Friday Night Fever action and kind of kick the week off a little early. Always fun. Bozeman, Rutherford, this should be a solid game. Rutherford, they lost to Arnold tonight, but, there's so much skill and talent and physicality on that team.
There really is. And the Rams, I feel, have just gotten dealt a bad hand because they have battled in every single game. They're trying to click. They're trying to get something going. And they do have good guys on their team. So hopefully that one will turn out to be a pretty good matchup. Bay versus Port St. Joe. We'll see if Port St. Joe can bounce back from the loss. I think they can. I think this Tiger Sharks team is very talented and can definitely bounce back from a loss like this week. Maybe even like a Blountstown bounce back. We might have to see, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, I saw in the comments earlier, Port St. Joe will be back, and I believe they will be back.
Definitely.
This was a hard-fought game tonight. I heard, penalties were kind of the difference in this one. Kind of changed a lot going on tonight. I mean, even while I was there in the first half, there was a play that was a roughing the passer call that went against them, and then South Walton ended up going and getting the score with that. So
a lot of emotions too in that game. A lot of emotions. I could see a lot of penalties resulting from that. So to move on to some other Week 8 games, Chipley and Holmes County, that could be our game of the week. I don't want to tease it too much, but I'm excited for that matchup to see what Holmes County they were on a bye week this week, and then obviously the week before that big victory over Blountstown, upsetting the Tigers. So I'm excited to see them take on a tough Chipley team this year. I mean, that'll be exciting.
Right, Chipley, they've battled some injuries as of late, but they should be fully healthy for this matchup.
And they were off this week as well. So both teams with a bye week
should be well rested. Should be coming into this. They're going to have that star running back and defensive back, Alsethany McGee. He should be back and healthy for this matchup. And then Holmes County, I hope they might still be riding that buzz to see if it goes to 2 weeks of coming in and
I think
knocking
they will.
off Blountstown. They could come in. Colby Jones in the game.
And the Jake Riley, man.
Jake Riley.
I love that. Love that Holmes County team. Cottondale takes on Weewahitchka, so we'll see how that one goes as well. Bronson versus Franklin County. Graceville. Vernon's back in action for you Vernon fans out there. I know we have a couple. They're in action against Graceville. We'll see if Vernon can pick up a win this year. North Bay Haven takes on Liberty County. So it'll be interesting to see what North Bay Haven does after that great win tonight. This Liberty County team is really, really good. We've talked about it on the show before. Liberty County is a great team this year. Definitely one of the most overlooked teams, I think, because we talk about Blountstown Youngstown and Port St. Joe and all these 1A teams, Holmes County, but Liberty County is having a great season. So I'm excited to see what North Bay Haven can do with this team.
Right, so North Bay Haven tonight picking up a win over Freeport. Freeport beat Bozeman. Bozeman beat Liberty County.
Okay.
So, in that sense, right?
Okay, you just connected it in three different
the dots in three ways. This should be a good matchup.
It should be a good
Liberty
game.
County, Tristan Lopez at running back, he has been balling out this year.
Amazing.
He just runs over teams.
Really
we said
does.
tonight North Bay Haven did really well in the running game. So 2 great running teams next week. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
I am too. That one could rival a game of the week, honestly. That might be maybe sneaky game of the week, sneaky. But we'll have to see how it goes. Marianna takes on McClay, who just beat Weewahitchka by 1 point tonight. Rickards versus Mosley. Honestly, this may even be, we may have to have 2 games of the weeks because this
Can they all
truly.
be game of the week?
What?
Can they all be game of the week?
Can they all be game of the week? Yeah, no, this for sure. We're going to have to go back and think about this, Sam, because Rickards versus Mosley, this will be the test for the Dolphins, truly. I truly think this will be a test because if I'm not incorrect, Rickards has a fabulous record this year, and our good friends over at WTXL with Allison Posey, she used to be the sports director, she used to be the weekend sports anchor here, now is the sports director there. She said Rickards is great this year. They're 5-1. They've beaten teams like Childs, Gadsden County, Crestview, Fort Walton Beach. They beat Godby tonight. They've taken, they're on a 4-game winning streak. They only lost the first game of the season to Bartram Trail. So, wow, that's gonna
if Mosley
be a
can
tough
come
one.
away with that one with a win, that's when we can start talking about, all right, state championship Mosley.
Ooh.
But, an incredible matchup next week. Mosley, they have always some great team, or Tallahassee always has some great teams over there.
Yeah, they do.
So Mosley, if they can pull this one off,
They could win out the rest of the year. If they
really
pull that
could.
off, they could win out the rest of the year.
time will tell. We'll see next week.
Yeah, we'll see next week. And John, you said, what about Mosley Rickards next week for Game of the Week? We might have to consider that.
Just do that.
We might just do that. You'll have to tune to News 13 to find out what we pick. But Jefferson County takes on Sneed. South Walton takes on North Florida Christian. So we'll see what happens in that matchup. Baker versus Walton. That one I think could be interesting as well. We'll have to see because Walton themselves have been having a year this year. We talked about it on the show. This is the best start to the year Walton has had since 2015. So they're 6-1 now?
And they just improved upon that
6-1,
tonight with a very quality win over Bozeman. That is a very good 1A team, Bozeman, this year. And they were on a 3-game winning streak. Well, Walton on a 4-game winning streak.
Yep.
Bozeman obviously loses tonight, but now riding a 5-game win streak and going into Baker, that will be an incredibly tough match. That Walton defense is so good.
They're really good.
So good.
They're really good. And
Keontae Miller, he can ball too. That quarterback over there, he's leading the way.
Yeah, he's a bowling ball, but he can ball.
he is a tough competitor. He is a tough,
he really
tough
is.
guy.
No, he's awesome. And we love talking to him this week. He was just fun to chat with and fun to talk to. So I'm excited to see that matchup. But man, I thought week 7 was good. Week 8's going to be even better.
They just keep getting better. But the thing about if they keep going, we're going to be running out of season soon, and then I'll be sad. But
I know, yeah. And JD, sorry, you must have joined a little late. We did talk about Port St. Joe, but Port St. Joe did lose tonight to South Walton by 4 points, 40-36. That final score. I just want to give the little update for JD walking into the live stream here. So yeah, they did lose tonight. That is their first loss of the season to a great South Walton squad. We just cannot give enough credit to the South Walton team. We can't give enough credit to the Port St. Joe team, but we also can't give enough credit to South Walton because they really walked into this one knowing what kind of Sharks team they were going to get and just battled it out with them. And I think got some revenge for last year with that 1-point loss to them.
50-49 was the final last year. You were at that game,
I was at that
right?
game. I actually got to go to that game. And that was one of the most fun atmospheres of high school football ever. Port St. Joe has a great fan base. They rock that stadium. They pack it out. It's amazing. And then South Walton's fans showed up in swarms. I mean, it was an awesome game. And it was on a Saturday afternoon. So I thought that was the best part of it. Saturday afternoon, you got to love those games. So that's, I think we covered everything. Did we cover everything? We covered those week 8 games.
We covered
the scores. I think we talked about everything.
Pretty much. I mean, like you said, coming into this game, if Port St. Joe could have pulled this off, they really could be rivaling, you know, one of the top 1A schools in the state.
I said they would rival Baker. That's what I said, because Baker won over South Walton by 1 point. So all it would take is just a little victory, even if it's 2-3 points. But I still think a loss by 4 puts you in the best category in 1A. I mean, Port St. Joe is still one of the top teams in 1A. I don't care what anybody says. They are going to be incredible in the postseason this year.
For sure. If they were to win out and only have the loss to South Walton, they're probably going to get a bye week. I mean, that's just, it is such a quality loss, that South Walton team.
I hate to say quality loss. I hate to say quality loss, but it's so true, because Baker beat them by 1 point, and Port St. Joe just lost them by 4. That's not a big difference. That's not, you didn't get blown out by this team. You stuck with it the whole way. Again, I feel really good about Port St. Joe this year.
And that's why it was our game of the week.
And that's why it was our game of the week. And, folks, we got it right. So next week you'll have to stay tuned for what we have as game of the week next week. But we're running out of time, so you know what? We're going to wrap it up here. We'll see you guys next week for another awesome slate of games. And just real quick before we go, thank you guys for tuning in. We have to say a big thank you, because we started this show this year for you guys. We wanted to give you a way to interact. We wanted to hear from you about your favorite teams, what scores you wanted to know, what feedback you have. We wanted to kind of do it for you guys. And you really have made this incredible for me and Sam, because we've enjoyed interacting with you. We've enjoyed, obviously talking a little bit further, and I don't know, just getting to, it feels like this is a high school football community here, and it just feels really good.
It really does. Like, for anybody who doesn't know, I was born and raised here in Panama City. I grew up going to Tommy Oliver Stadium, watching games here. To be able to talk Panhandle football, to be able to communicate with the people of the community and just talk about the sport that I love, that you love, it is a lot of fun.
It is really fun. So thank you. Yes, Coach Olds, thank you. We're going to have Coach Olds on the show at one point to break some stuff down with us, because he's awesome and always on the sidelines. So yeah, but thank you guys. We could not do this without you guys, and you have made this awesome. So without being too sappy, thank you again. We appreciate you for watching. I hope you'll tune in with us for week 8 of this season, because it's going to be a fun one.